Hey everyone, this is Sean. So today I want to explain to you what an AI agent memory system looks like. And it's very important to understand how memory works these days. Because if you have been using tools like ChatGPT or Claude, you're probably already using the memory system without even realizing it. For example, when you ask your AI tool about who you are and the question that you asked them for the past week, they all know what's going on. And if you're an AI builder or a startup founder, sometimes they even remember what your company is without you needing to explain it. So in this video, I want to explain to you the essential part of how does this exactly work. And I'm going to walk you through the system design you can see on the screen step by step so that you will understand what matters in this kind of system design and also what will help you for efficient token usage in a memory system for AI agents. Let's get started. So when we talk to ChatGPT or Claude or anything, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ask a question, which in our language is called a user prompt. Okay, a prompt is basically something that you send to a chatbot and be like, hey, what's the weather like today? How do I build an app? How do I understand Einstein's theory? So we might think that we're asking the question to this pink bubble, which is an LLM, which is a Q&A agent, which allows you to ask questions and answer your questions. And then you will get a reply. In between that, there's some more steps that's happening before that, okay? So this question will firstly flow into this thing called a working memory or a context RAM. What does that mean? It means that instead of asking a simple question such as, what does my company do? In which case the large language model might not even remember or don't even know. It needs to have a working memory that either includes some information from the internet or from the current context itself, or from some databases that you stored such information previously. And then this working memory also needs to be fed with something called the current chat history and a system prompt. A chat history is basically everything you have talked about in a conversation with AI. Okay, that's easy to understand. For system prompt, it's basically a role play. For example, if you want AI to be able to respond to you like Elon Musk, then you need to put in the system prompt that, hey, you're Elon Musk. You must talk to me like Elon Musk. So the user question, the user prompt, the current chat history, and the system prompt are the basic components that will be fed into this working memory or the current context so that your Q&A agent will be able to understand, okay, here's the entire context. I'm going to process this information before I send this user a reply. But what if we need more than just the current chat history? Okay, what if we need something else? Let's say you're setting up an agent to allow your customers to talk to you and ask any questions about your products, about the deal that you're talking about. The customer might be asking you something related to the quality of your products, related to your previous conversations, a follow-up question, these kind of things. All right, and the current chat history is all the history that happened in that e-commerce app. And the system prompt is probably like, oh, you are a bot that will take care of all of my customers on this e-commerce site. And the conversation happening here is called an AI agent session. And this session is ephemeral, which means that nothing here will get saved unless you manually save them in a database, because there's no database here yet. We're literally just making an LLM call right here. Well, you could argue that the current chat history has a bit of memory, but that's just happening in this current conversation. This current session does not know anything about your product stocks, about your previous purchase history, your customers' tastes, anything you have argued about, any complaints in the past, these kind of things. Okay, that's why we need to build up on this working memory and give it more rich information and make it efficient as well. So there are three main pillars that will make this working memory more complete. And they are procedural memory, semantic memory, and episodic memory. I'll explain them one by one. A procedural memory is basically how the agent should be behaving. It's usually related to how they should act. And also, if you're familiar, you could write some skills to teach agent to do some repeated tasks. For example, it could be something like, if you realize that the customer is really angry, you should answer them politely and always apologize. This is a skill that your agent should learn, and there's no memory about this thing, right? You can think of this as like a habit you want to teach to your employee to behave in a certain way, or teach your kids, right, to behave in a certain way. And it's just a procedure, right? This is how you react when such a situation happens. And they're usually saved in files or text. And for skills, you can save them as a markdown file. All right, so I'm going to connect this to the working memory, and this is usually inputted as a skill.md markdown file. Okay, and semantic memory and episodic memory are slightly different. They're actually saved not in files, but what we would call vector stores. And these vector stores will feed information into this memory that will be plugged in to the working memory. Let's dive a little bit deeper into what these memories actually mean. Okay, so for semantic memory, It's basically saving things like durable facts or user profile. Let's say I start a new store online today, and if I just ask ChatGPT what my products are, ChatGPT will have no idea who you are. Well, if they do have some idea of who you are, say if you're Walmart, then that means you're already famous, okay? Then their models has already trained on you, or they can search on the internet to find about you, all right? But in your case, because the foundational large language model does not know who you are, you need to save some durable facts or the profile of your company or about yourself in a database, so that when one of your customers is asking a question about a certain product, your agent will be able to understand where to fetch that information. And this is a process we call RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation. And normally it uses a top case search method. I have a dedicated video about Retrieval Augmented Generation on my channel. Feel free to watch them. But basically, RAG is something that will allow the AI agent to have access to and also be able to select and fetch the most relevant information related to your questions, okay? Why is selectively fetching so important? It's because if you run a company for 10 years, let's say, your database could be really huge. You could have like gigantic amount of images or text or documentations about your company. You don't want to feed the whole thing into the LLM because firstly, that would be very expensive. And secondly, that's probably not feasible, okay? These days, I think the context window for most LLMs is roughly 1 million tokens. Right? If you go beyond that, good luck with that. But you don't want to overload your LLMs because that also makes things much slower and not accurate anymore. So you want something to smartly fetch information for you. And this method is called RAG. You can watch my previous video to understand a bit better about what RAG means. But here is basically just helping you to fetch the static and durable facts about your company, what products you're selling, who you are, what kind of branding you have, what kind of ways do you put yourself out there in front of customers, okay? These things don't change normally. Or the facts could be like, oh, who this customer is. Like if they message me very often, I want to remember who they are, right? Otherwise, it sounds like you don't really care about your customers. I'm going to explain how we're going to make semantic memory to also remember your customer site as well in a bit, okay? And then we're covering the episodic memory, which is also stored in a vector store. Again, a vector store is a embedded list of arrays or numbers that is representing all the text. Because remember, computers cannot process text or documents. It can only process numbers. So how AI is understanding our world is basically it's turning every single word into a list of numbers. And then it's going to do some similarity search, which is basically RAG. RAG, again, it's doing the top K search. And if K is 5, then it's looking for the top 5 most relevant pieces of information from the vector store to feed into answering this question from the user. But the main difference between an episodic memory and a semantic memory is that the episodic memory is recording the dated events or activities that happened. It's like a timeline with like everything that happened has a time on it, or it's just a past chat history. Remember we mentioned that in this box, this AI agent session, everything is going to be gone after the conversation is gone, right? So we're going to save this conversation, the current chat history, into the episodic memory later so that it has the entire record of the previous conversations related to this agent activities with their users. Well, the examples here for selling items online could be that you're storing like who's purchasing what items on what day, and when was the item delivered, when was the last time somebody filed a complaint for your service, something like that. Okay. So we're going to need to add an arrow here to link the reply to this database. And this is basically saving the messages or actually activities as well. Okay. So that this episodic memory is constantly being updated. It's basically a log of all previous history. So here's the fun part. If you have been using ChatGPT or Claude and you use their memories, you will realize that sometimes you can edit the memories for yourself. And you realize that the memories are not very long, but then they're constantly being like updated. For example, it remembers that I'm building a company that is working on a certain type of problem. I don't need to explain anything, but sometimes we did small pivots and we talked about it in our conversations. And then the memory just remembered that. Okay. For an efficient agent memory system to work, you don't want the AI agent to always search these kind of information from an episodic memory because that's just a huge database about everything that happened in the past. You want some kind of durable, summarized facts that you think is very important for AI to know. Okay, so that's why ChatGPT and Claude and all these AI agents are all doing something similar, which is that it's summarizing at a certain frequency, which is not too frequent, of all of these activities that happened into the semantic memory, so that the facts about you, about your company, about everything is condensed and saved properly for future retrievals. Okay, and this is actually very smart because it not only saved a lot of token usage every single time, and also it's making your tools much faster. But let's pause here for 1 second. If we summarize every single bit of new activities into the semantic memory, then that sounds like we're just saving the information twice. What's the point of having a durable fact anyways? And that brings us into this concept of a gate, which is we only consolidate after a certain number of chats. It could be 20 conversations, it could be 100 activities, it could be anything. Okay, so in order for these systems to work together, we need a system that will do some consolidation after a certain number of messages, and then we feed that into the summarizer agent. And then the summarizer agent will then summarize the information into the semantic memory. And we call this distill into facts. So congratulations, this is pretty much it. You have built up an entire memory system that is, in my opinion, quite modern in these days context, and it should be embedded in any AI applications that we're building these days, because it's so easy for users to engage with an AI agent and it's so easy to build software. But then what happens is that the database is just exploding if you're recording all these activities. So we need to figure out a way to very efficiently not only record the data, but also summarizing the data and then turn them into sort of some core memory, which is semantic, and then some episodic memory, which is just a timeline of a list of things. And at the same time, you can define the best practices of how the agent should behave in a certain task, okay? Which is what skills is about. I also made a video about agent skills, agent teams in the past. Feel free to check them out. But overall, I believe this is a very complete way to understand what an AI agent system should be performing with a memory that will be added as a context layer on top of the entire interaction. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.